We here at Mayhem Media
understand the trials and tribulations of life.
No matter how hard life can get.
Suicide is never the answer.
There's more assistance available today than ever before.
If you or a loved one are suffering from suicidal thoughts, please don't try and take it on alone.
Call or text 988 if you live in the U.S.
Or if you're in Great Britain, call 116123 or text 85258.
The world is a better place with you in it.
Hey, yo, everyone. I am your host, the bad guy of podcasting, JD, and welcome to Mayhemtainment. This is episode 88, and our special guest, as you can see, is independent wrestler Sarah Sunshine.
Not a wrestler. I'm just involved in independent wrestling.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. My mistakes then.
No, all good. I've done just about everything else. I've announced, I've commentated, I've taken tickets, I've helped with lights and sound, I've helped with concession. I've done first aid when needed.
So you're involved with indie wrestling. You're just not a performer then in the ring.
I do announce, but I'm not one of the fighters now.
Okay, so no,
I do
work, but you do a lot of stuff around it, and you work with indie companies.
Yes, and I do make wrestling gear.
Okay, so I wasn't totally off on that. So she's not an independent wrestler, but she's an independent everything else with wrestling. Sarah Sunshine, which is a great name, by the way.
Thank you.
So tell us. You just told us a little bit, but go a little more in depth with what you do then. Since you're not in the ring. Guess I should have watched shout out Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc. I saw her on their episode first, but I did not get to see the whole thing live. I should have went back and watched some more of it. I probably would have known. So,
no, all good.
But what else do you? What all do you do? Talk about what you do then with wrestling and stuff.
So a lot of what I do now is being an announcer. I've announced in 3 states across 6 or 7 companies, and I've helped with a couple others. My partner is a wrestler. Like he does do the wrestling, which is how I got into gear making. Like he found out on a Monday that his first match was going to be on a Saturday. And bear in mind, I had like no sewing experience at this point. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know where I'm going to get wrestling gear. Like, I do not have time to get anything ordered. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to learn how to do that this week.
So you started with his gear.
I did. Yeah. At that point, like I had been working some of the shows he was like his trainer ran. And so I would go and I would run the lights because his light girl quit the month before we started. And he's like, hey, do you think you can run a light board? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I've never done that, but like, give me a crash course and I'll do my best. And that's kind of been my whole thing with all of wrestling. It's been, well, I don't know how to do this currently, but like, let's see if we can learn how to do that. And I have the first set of gear that I made. It was not the quality that I make now, like by any means.
Yeah.
But it worked. He wore it for like 6 months. And then through that time, I was like learning. I was like, hey, where are these for practice? Or are these for training? Like, tell me how they feel, tell me how they move, and just like slowly getting better. And eventually, like, I think that was probably June of 2022. By November of 2022, that was right around the time that the Green Power Ranger passed away.
David Frank.
Yes, thank you. I am literally the worst with names. Like anybody who knows me knows that I'm very good with faces, but a lot of times, like, I'll be like, hey, I know you, and I'm so sorry. Please tell me your name again.
I'm the same way. I actually have to practice at it. Like, so I couldn't, like, if I wasn't a huge Power Rangers fan and a Green Ranger fan anyway, I probably wouldn't have known his name, but it's only because I'm a fan that I know his name. And I could also only tell you the Green Ranger, the Blue Ranger, and the Red Ranger. And the Pink Ranger. I know those 4 Rangers by their actual actor names, not their regular names. So, but other than that, wouldn't work.
Yeah, and so that was right around the time that he passed, and we had a show that week, the week of Thanksgiving. So like I was a manager at Lowe's at this point, and I was working like 50 or 60 hours a week, and my partner Adam was like, hey, is there any way I can have something Green Power Ranger themed for the show this weekend? And I was like, well, I'll try my best. And to this day, like, it is not the best made gear that I've made, because that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It is still one of my favorite sets. Like, he had the green bike shorts with like the silver and the gold and the Green Power Ranger logo on one side, and then he had like a green and gold and silver vest. Nice. And I think he wore a black singlet with it. Like, he has a white singlet now, but I don't think I had made that at that point.
So that's pretty awesome.
That was, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, a Green Ranger thing is, and we're gonna definitely, now that I know that you make gear, we'll talk after we record this, because I do work with some independent wrestlers, not with their wrestling stuff, but I'm like their media guy. Shout out Austin and Scott Diamond, and I think Austin Diamond's looking for new gear as well, because he wants to get some of the branding that I've made for him on his gear. Okay. So he needs to get some new gear. So we'll talk about that after the show, though. The viewers.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, the viewers aren't.
They don't need that information.
Yeah. The viewers aren't concerned with that. So let's just move on from that. So you've run lights. You said you've done first aid. Was that a necessity thing? Out of necessity thing too?
It absolutely was. So the show where I realized that I needed to get certified happened in 2024. It was May. And somebody's manager had a heart attack, like, during the show. And I realized how grossly underprepared I was, which we were so lucky. One of the wrestlers who was on that show, he was a paramedic for his, like, shoot job.
Yeah.
And so he, like, this man deserves an award. Legitimately, he did CPR by himself for like 25 minutes because that show is kind of far out. And I remember calling 911, and I was so frazzled I couldn't even get the address out of the show that we were at, every month. And luckily the promoter heard me say, oh, we're at, and he just shouted it at me. And I was like, oh, we're at this address, because he knew it. And the guy ended up being fine. He got a pacemaker and he's doing well. He's managing again, which I check in a lot more frequently. But my partner and I got certified, I think, in June or July of 2024. And since then, there was a show we were at where one of the guys on the ring crew got his middle finger crushed between the two of the pieces of the ring, and his bones were sticking out.
Owie.
And there wasn't a ton I could do, but I very gently wrapped that in gauze and I cleaned it. And I was like, hey, man, I think you should go see an actual doctor, not just a girl at a show.
Yeah. The emergency room sounds like a winner. Well, you can never have too much safety, too many people who know how to do that stuff at wrestling shows anyway. I mean, especially indie shows, you see some injuries at indie shows and there's nobody there to immediately, tend to them or something. So I don't think you can ever have too much, any wrestling show, really, not just indie shows. You can never have too many people that know first aid and some of that base medical stuff.
I agree completely. There was one that I was not the first one to respond because one of our fans was actually a paramedic. And so we had somebody get a neck injury and this fan is in the ring. And so the promoter and I are undoing the bottom ropes so that they can get this girl out on a stretcher, which again, she ended up being fine. We're so thankful. But I cannot advocate enough for hey, go get certified.
Yeah, even if you're a wrestler, right? That's what you were saying.
Oh
Your
yeah, for sure.
significant other is a wrestler, and he's been certified also.
Yeah, we went and did the class together. And oftentimes, like, because I'm out there, like, as the announcer or the commentator or whatever, like, I'm closer and I tend to be the first responder. But there have been times in the back, like, we had somebody at a show, I think it was last year, don't quote me on that, but somebody took a really rough chair shot and it split their face open up into their hair. Dude ended
Wow.
up having to have like 13 staples.
Wow.
And so I get like Adam went and got the first aid kit for that and responded, which I was really thankful that one wasn't me. That was real bloody.
Yeah, head wounds. They can that's industry tricks and all that. But yeah, head wounds, they bleed an awful lot. So I've
They
had
really do.
I've had head wounds myself. I almost went through a windshield one time and my head was split like a cracked egg and there was blood everywhere. It was so much blood.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
I'm so glad you're okay.
Yeah, me too. My skull wasn't fractured. The doctor actually was standing over top of me and he's like, I am looking at the top of your skull right now. I'm like, that's great. You want to start sewing it up? Maybe that might be the way to go. So
I hate that.
yeah, but I was blood, as you were saying. That the reason I brought that up though is because head wounds bleed so significantly, and I was just completely drenched in it. So you said you do commentating and ring announcing. Is that both? You do commentating and ring announcing, or is it just one or the other?
I do both. Which some shows are one or the other. Like it tends to be that if it's a show that's not a regular show and they're having me come in, usually it's just as an announcer. Like I got to go to 2 shows out in Texas for that reason because the regular announcer couldn't make it. And, being like traveling as much as we do, you meet people and they're just like, oh, Sarah announces, like, do you want to come out? I really enjoy announcing most of the time. There have been a couple and there have been planned spots. There was one that happened a couple years ago. We did a one-off pop-up and the guy was one of the guys backstage was like, hey, I'm going to take your mic. I said, okay, but make sure you really take it. Cause I don't want it to look silly.
Yeah.
And he said, okay. He came out and he shoulder checked the hell out of me. I took my microphone. And my face, because I was expecting it, but I wasn't expecting that level. The fans were so mad.
Yeah, I bet he drew a lot of heat with that one. Yeah.
He really did. And that show had a smaller crowd. It was at the end of a 3-day event. And by the time we got to the end of day 3, which is where our spot was, people were not as keen on let me watch something. They were like, let's get home and have snacks. But even with the smaller crowd, that was the loudest thing in that whole building.
Yeah, that's always nice. Anytime you can find one of those in a wrestling show, it's going to make the show even better. So that's great that you got to participate in it too, though. Yeah,
for sure. And I love stuff like that that's different than the norm. There are 2 shows that I pretty consistently work, and then we take bookings otherwise, which sometimes it'll be that they book my partner and they're like, hey, come out to the show. And then we get there and they're like, hey, is she helpful? And I'm like, yes, I am into that.
Yeah, volunteering too, being available. Yeah, you can get doing a lot of stuff like that. Absolutely. So the commentating, how do you with the indie companies that you do it for, how do they do commentating?
So one of the companies that I work for, they have 2 commentary teams, which is very interesting because they like to do commentary for the live audience. And then they also like to do a different recording for the YouTube audience.
Interesting.
Just to get, I think, the better audio quality. Cause we tried doing it with my commentary partner and I being both, but the audio just was not as clear as they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of interesting, but I'm definitely the heel commentator at the table.
Okay.
I one of
the king.
Yeah. Yeah. I am very well known for talking shit, and it's kind of hilarious. My partner's he's a wrestler, so he's in Gorilla. He's backstage, and people will be back there listening to me on the mic, and they're like, man, she's really mean, right? And he goes, yeah, aren't you so excited that you get to wrestle and have her commentary later? And he said that he's made several people like panic, which I like. I love that.
Yeah, that sounds great. So you do the voiceover after you is usually how you do it. You like record the play-by-play and the commentary afterwards.
No, they actually, so one of our wrestlers at that company, like his dad does commentary for another promotion. And so the last couple shows, they've had them do the YouTube commentary, which is, I think that's super cool that he also gets to make it on the YouTube for that show.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about, the like how they shoot it. So do they shoot it with the show, or is it shot afterwards?
They shoot it with the show.
So the commentary, like the commentary specifically for YouTube, they still shoot during the show.
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Okay, that's interesting. So there's really two commentary teams like at the shows then.
Yes.
One for the crowd and then one for the actual like voiceover audio and stuff for YouTube. That's great. That's definitely unique. I've definitely never heard that before. So yeah, that's
and I've only seen that I think at 2 shows in like the whole time that we've been traveling, which I appreciate that I still get to be a commentator, because for a while, so I got my job announcing at that show because their announcer called out. The promoter like ran across the parking lot and he was like, hey, you're loud and mean. Do you want to be our announcer tonight? And I was like, no, absolutely not. That sounds terrible. And he's like, no, come on, please. And I was like, okay, but like just the one show. Like, this is not my thing. I'm just here to be a fan. And at that point, like I was working a merch table. I did the show. It went pretty well. I fell getting into the ring, which luckily our referee was like a superhero and caught me and put me on my feet. So I didn't just like face plant my first time in the ring. And so the next show we come back and I was like, hey, so it's not me tonight, right? And they're like, no, our announcer's not here. And I was like, what do you mean? And so, I did 2 shows and then their announcer came back and they're like, hey, we want you guys to do this together. So like you announce a match and then he announced a match. And we did that for like 2 months. And then he ended up separating from the company for personal reasons. Like he had a lot going on.
Yeah.
He announces for like everything from volleyball to football to like all the things. And so he is in high demand. And for a while they were like, okay, like you just do this by yourself. I was like, no. I'm brand new to wrestling. Like I can't just be at the commentary table by myself. Like I don't know wrestling well enough. And they're like, okay. And so they gave me like several guest commentators. And then they finally found a regular guy that I do commentary with now.
That's
and
good.
we have a pretty good back and forth most of the time. He got so mad at me like 3 shows ago because I made him laugh and he was laughing so hard he was wheezing, and then I had to do all the commentary for like 5 minutes so he could get his composure back.
Yeah, I can't believe they asked you to do it solo. That's a task.
Oh my gosh.
That's a feat. We do some watch-alongs here with Mayhem Media. We've done some pay-per-view watch-alongs and some football watch-alongs. It's something that we do. And I did a football one last year by myself. I had my buddy came in for like a quarter and a half. So I did like the entire second half on my own. And calling anything by yourself is very hard to do, because having that conversation with somebody is huge. Being able to bounce something off of somebody and have them contribute is really big when you're commentating. Doing it by yourself, man. I'm not Joey Styles.
It is a real challenge. Like I have so much more respect for people who, do that on the regular, or like even people who have to like step up because of like an audio issue or whatever. Like it is definitely a challenge to be by yourself. And I feel like something that's kind of helping now is that like I've been doing live streams on like Facebook and TikTok, and it's a lot of just like talking to yourself, but you're not having to like, oh, look, this is what this person is doing and that's what this person's doing. And like,
Yeah. Shooting episodes by yourself is also a different
Yeah.
piece than having a guest with you. So yeah, I've done a few solo episodes, and it's completely it's entirely different than doing something with a guest. As I imagine commentary is. So wow, you do a lot of stuff with all the wrestling there. Now, do you do this for multiple promotions, or is it just one main one that you work with?
So there are two main ones that I work with currently. I have South Central Wrestling in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and then I have Hay Barn Championship Wrestling. And so Hay Barn, I'm an announcer and a commentator. SCW, I'm usually just an announcer, but occasionally it's let me swoop in and help with this thing. And it's never like I started, like I said, backstage there. I was doing their lights. And then I kind of created the position of production manager backstage because we had 3 or 4 trainees doing multiple jobs, and like wrestling trainees are great, but they definitely get distracted. And so there were points where, I was backstage and I was like, okay, I need these 2 wrestlers ready to go next. Like, I need my ref ready to walk out. I need my announcer ready to walk out. To the gentleman who ran the visual aspect, because they do like a Titantron.
Yeah.
He would do that, and he would do like levels. And then I would also be monitoring all the recording. And so I just kind of promoted myself to doing all of that until that became my official title.
Oh,
but
good.
now
I hope someone's paying you some money for that, or at least giving you some serious recognition, because I can't imagine that's easy to take on. Those are easy tasks.
No, and it's my partner gives me a lot of shit because I have a real habit of just like jumping in. Like I had put rings together, I've taken rings apart. There was one show that we did in Fort Smith at some point. I don't remember when that show was, but we got to the end of the show and like nobody stayed for ring strike, which, that's fine. Like I've done ring strike with 4 people. It sucks. It's doable. There were probably 5 of us for that ring strike. And I just remember like grabbing one of the ring posts and putting it up on my shoulder and taking it to load it in the trailer. And one of the wrestlers' wives stopped me and she goes, "Isn't that heavy?" I was like, "Yeah, but I want to go home." But the wrestlers.
Yes,
it's
heavy. I want to go home. You want to grab the other end? We can get it done a little quicker.
No, and I felt a little bad because there were 2 wrestlers that stayed that were like a father-son duo, and they were carrying one of these posts together. And I wasn't trying to be show-offy. I just like, we had like a 3-hour drive from there, and this was on a Sunday, and I had work in the morning. I was like, I just want to go home. I want to get some pizza and go home.
Yeah, absolutely. So, wow, that's crazy that you, that's great though, that you've kind of just got, put yourself in that situation though, and were able to take those responsibilities on, and that you did them well enough that people were like, hey, let's just let her do it. So there's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So you're basically, if you put rings together and you've taken them apart and you've done all that other stuff that we've talked about, you're basically a wrestler. You're just not an in-ring wrestling performer.
Correct. I don't like to be hit.
Yeah. No, I understand, but at least, so you're all but a wrestler. So, you've done everything else. The only thing you haven't done is a match, which is fine. But at least I wasn't that off the mark then when I called you an indie wrestler.
No, and I've taken a couple bumps too. Like I've been a manager. My first time being a manager, I got knocked off of the ring apron to the floor.
Wow.
And if you're wondering, that does hurt.
Yeah, I would imagine. Listen, I know that a lot of those bumps hurt. Like I know there's ones that you can take and you're fine, but there's, in today's wrestling, you don't take as many of those bumps as you used to. Now you're taking a lot more bumps that are likely to leave some bruises or, cause some pain.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about you then. Other than wrestling, what is it? Do you have any hobbies or anything like that you would like to talk about?
I do. So I've actually been running a D&D game on Mondays.
I love D&D. I just got done being a dungeon master myself.
Oh yeah. What kind of campaign do you run?
Actually, I don't know what you mean. Why? Honestly, I'm a little newer to Dungeons and Dragons. I was only the dungeon master was because it's only our second campaign as a group, and I only
Okay.
volunteered to do it so that the guy who ran the first campaign could be a player.
Got to
I
be a player. That's so nice.
Yeah, it was just so that he could be a player. Turns out he's fine with being the dungeon master for as long as we want him to be the dungeon master. So when I finished mine, I was happy to hand the reins back over. I threw them at him. I said, "Here, you take these." I mean, it was a lot of fun being the dungeon master. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of work.
It
takes a lot of
really
commitment
is.
to be the dungeon master. Way more commitment to be a dungeon master than to be a player.
Oh, for sure. For sure. This is the second campaign I've run. And I really believe that some people are forever DMs. So like I'm still learning for sure. I don't think that I'm ever going to know all there is to know about D&D.
No.
But I had 2 kids approach me at a show. I say kids, they're like 20 and 21. So they feel like kids to me. But they were like, "Oh yeah, we lost our dungeon master. Like we were playing at the library, but the DM can't come anymore." And I was like, "Do you want to play a campaign with me?" And they were like, "Oh, are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I have one that I've been like writing." My old D&D group kind of parted ways. Like there was some drama and we decided that we were just better to go our separate ways, which is fine. Like, not everybody can be like group chemistry is so important.
It is. It really is.
And I was talking about it in the car with Adam, my partner, and his tag team partner, Kyle. And Kyle's like, "I want to play." He's like, "When are we playing?" He's like, "I'm coming." I was like, No, hang on. Like, I've got to like make sure this is okay before we just add people to the group.
Yeah.
And so I texted these 2 kids and I was like, "Hey guys, like Adam and Kyle want to play with us too. Are you guys good with that?" And they're like, "Yeah, bring them. The more the merrier. Like, are you good to run a campaign with that many people?" I was like, "Yeah, I've run a campaign for 7 people. Like, let's go." And so we played 2 sessions and then Adam was like, "Oh, there's this guy at my work. And he just moved here from God knows where. He told me and I don't remember. This kid just moved here and he said that he used to play D&D and that he's feeling really sad and he doesn't really have any friends here. What do you think about bringing him in for a session?" I was like, "Well, what do we think of him? Like, is he nice? Does he seem okay?" And Adam was like, "Yeah." And so I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Give him my contact info. We'll have a conversation. We'll see what's up." And so we messaged for like a week so that I could get him set up with character. And he joined us for our first session, or his first session, on Monday. And I think he's a good addition. So I have 5 players now, and
Nice.
I'm running a little bit of like a horror campaign.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is that what you meant by type, like a genre, like a horror or an adventure, or is that what you meant by what type of campaign?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we the first camp we actually we're actually my D&D group is actually creating a universe, like a Marvel cinematic universe. So we ran the first campaign, and then when it was my turn, I talked to my buddy and I'm like, "Hey man, I want to do my campaign in this universe that we've created and have it set like 120 or 125 years after the event. So that way there wasn't any chance of some of the characters that people were playing could like show up as NPCs or something. So we put it like a time gap in there. But he's like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "I don't have a problem with that." So him and now he's back in charge because we literally just had our first session for our 3rd campaign this past Sunday. So, and now that is taking place another 120 years after the events of my campaign. So now we're about to have 3 campaigns. We're about to have lore over about 300 years. And now we can go back and
so
we can do
cool.
smaller. Yeah, now we can go back and do smaller campaigns or something, because most of our campaigns have been like, "Hey, the world's going to end." The typical
It's on par for Marvel.
Yeah, the typical hero adventure. You know what I mean? There's a gigantic Tarrasque. He's going to destroy the world. We have to stop it, is what the first campaign ended on. So, but now that we're getting these big campaigns in, I think eventually some of us will start going back like in time and start adding things, littler stuff in between some of the larger campaigns. So that's what I liked most about it. I can say if we were doing a different universe every time we did a D&D campaign, I honestly could say I don't think I'd be quite as interested.
No, that's fair. And you know, some campaigns, like I had a good friend who had the same campaign or like same world, but like multiple campaigns over like 7 years. And I love that. Like
Yeah.
so my first campaign was very, very contained. I set it in the North Pole and it was a Christmas horror campaign. I like
Nice.
horror for
Yeah.
D&D quite a bit. But my second one, like I've made this entire new world that gives me a lot more space to like, you know, this is what we're exploring right now, but like, of course, there's other stuff going on in that world. And that first campaign, like, I really hope I get to run it again because it's a different group. So like, why not?
Yeah.
But I sent them all letters, which I made them, I got parchment, I wrote in like fancy script and I sealed them with wax seals and said, hey, kids have been going missing.
Nice.
We're going to pick you up and you're going to go and see if you can figure out what's going on. And I sent them to the North Pole and I gave them a bunch of magic items. And I was like, hey, so it seems like kids are going missing at the hospital. And they get to the hospital and they end up finding out that a lot of these children have been experimented on. So like the doctor was crossbreeding not crossbreeding, like slicing their DNA with different animals to see if he could cure whatever their illness was.
Yeah.
And so he really had good intentions, but they're meeting all these kids. Like at one point one of my players got a vision from his deity and she was like, hey, I need you to go to the church up at the like northeast corner. I don't have that map in front of me. Like I drew it by hand.
Yeah.
And so they go to the church and they meet this kid and she is entirely blind and it seems like she is mad. Like she's not in touch with reality because she's just muttering about, if there is a God, he'll have to beg for my forgiveness. And she keeps casting, oh gosh, I can't tell you what spell it is. It's a spell that can make 4 glowing lights appear around the corners of the room.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, we got to take this kid with us. And so then they have this like blind shrimp child that they're just trying to take or to find. And one of my players went outside and like there was a graveyard and they dug up a Christmas elf. And I was like, okay, you guys just desecrated a grave. That's cool.
Oh my goodness, what players can do. What players will get themselves into. And you gotta be careful. You got to be careful. You being a DM, you probably try and do this to your players. I did it a little differently, but my buddy, he likes to. You have to be careful because he will be like in our first campaign, he was like, we killed this young dragon, and then he said, oh, you know, the hide and stuff of this dragon would make great additions to your weapons and your ship, and so we skinned the dragon, but later on we find the dragon's mom and we have a huge battle with it. Yeah, like I'm like, and as soon as he put us in front of her, I said, you set us up months ago with this, didn't you? You admit it. You set this up. He's like,
I love it.
He's like, all I said was that it could make your weapons better. Not that you did have to do it. You had to. No, I was like, no. You know what you did. You know. So you got to, like, I always have to listen. I have to listen to the DMs. He just did it in our first campaign. He just did it in our first campaign. He said something like, like, oh, this person is just right out there in the open. And I'm like, no, we're going after the person that's in the back because this is too easy a target. Like, he's not giving us the right information. Don't believe him.
Listen, you have to be in your villain era, like at least a little bit to run a good D&D campaign. I can talk about this because it already happened in the campaign I'm currently running. I sent these kids on a fetch quest. I said, hey, they were in a tavern. I came up as a woman. I was like, hey, can you go get my necklace back? It was buried with my grandfather. I just want to be able to pass it down to my daughter. And they're like, okay. So I sent them to this tomb. And they had to fight a lot of things to get through this tomb, which I might have made that a little bit too hard because they're level 1s, and I forgot how squishy level 1 is.
Yeah.
But they get to this last room, and I gave them a puzzle where they had to like turn medallions to get this necklace out of a glass case. And so I have a fairy in my group, and she's like, I want to stand by the necklace. There are 5 of us. There are 4 dials. So like, I'll stand there. I'll grab it in case it's on a timer. And we're like, okay. And so the case opens, and she's like, I want to grab it. I said, how do you grab it?
Yeah.
And she goes, I grab it with both hands.
Yep.
I said, okay,
both
cool.
Hands. I grab the orb. I grab the orb, Merc, with both hands. You grab it with both hands? Yes, I grab it with both hands. Well, both your hands start turning to stone, and you start spreading up your body. I have to have my cleric healer has to wield my sword and chop my arms off.
Oh my god, I love it.
So, like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, how do you grab it? Those are the questions.
How do you grab it?
Wait a minute. How am I grabbing it? You know what? Just wait and let me think about it.
She says, I grab it with both hands. I said, as soon as you touch it, as soon as both of your hands are on the necklace, everything fades to black. All of you lose your vision, and there's a thud as you hit the floor. And they're like, so we're just in the void? And I was like, and that's where we're going to end this week's session.
Yeah. See that nonsense too. He would, yeah. Although I used to do the same. I've done very similar stuff. One time, my party was just, because it was my first time, I asked them to color inside the lines for me to start my campaign, right? So
right.
They were staying inside the lines, but then they kept just going forward, like rushing forward, like, okay, what's this? Let's just go after the person. Don't give them a chance to run away. So in order to change that up, I set up a ship battle, which they tried to rush it, immediately board, take the ship. Well, they ended up getting into the cargo hold where the boss was waiting with a rifle, and he shot the gas barrels. Everybody's dead, and we start the whole thing over back at the beginning, like a time loop.
Oh my god, that's great. I love that.
So then they try and do it faster the second time. Boom. They blow up again, so we start back at the beginning of the time loop. On the third time, they decided to try it a little bit differently, and they ended up getting out of it on the third try. But that's because they didn't just rush right in. They went about it a little differently. And from that moment on, they stopped just kind of like going right in. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, we all blew up on a boat like 3 times. Maybe we shouldn't just rush in. Of course, as a player, I'm not so. I play my character. Have you played as a character or just the DM so far?
I have also played as a character. I have a bad reputation of like irritating the hell out of my DMs.
I want to ask you, when you play a character, do you try and play accurately to the character, or do you try?
Yes, I do.
Do you try and meta the game where you try and pick what is it that I'm trying to do here?
No, I definitely want to play as my character, which great example. I played as a cleric. Her name was Odessa, and she was a water genasi. And our DM was flexible. He's like, okay, like, because you're a water genasi, like, I will let you have some water spells as a cleric, even though that wouldn't really be, based on the rules.
Yeah.
But I agree, like, if you grew up in the water, like, yeah, you'd probably pick up some water spells. And so our DM set up this, like, super epic battle that should have taken multiple sessions, like, realistically. There were 6 or 7 of us playing, and so we're on one side of the river, and the bridge breaks, and I have, like, 40 civilians with me. And our DM's like, well, there are monsters coming out of the woods. And so it's me and... I think he might have been a wizard. He might have been a warlock, but magic, regardless.
Yeah.
And so he's there with me, and he's like, okay, I'm going to fight these guys. I need you to deal with these people. I was like, okay, you got it. And I was like, hey, I want to cast Control Water. And our DM looks at me, and he goes, that 4th level spell that I let you take that, like, you shouldn't have? I said, yeah. And he said, okay. And so I, like, Moses this shit.
Yeah.
I, like, open a tunnel in the water, and I'm, like, casting around me and, like, leading these people through this tunnel. And our DM's face was just like, fuck, that's not what I planned on. And so like I get all the people safely across, and my counterpart is still over there, and he's kicking ass. He rolls like 4 nat 20s. And so he's obliterating these monsters that our DM gave us. And our DM's like, okay, so I have demons that are going to come out of the woods.
Yeah.
And one of our other friends was like, oh, I cast, is it darkness that doesn't let you do flames?
I'm not sure.
Something like that, where like you can't have magical fire within this because of what the spell says.
Yeah.
And so he cast this, which is how the demons are going to come out. They light this fire. And our DM's just like, what the fuck, you
Yeah.
And we did this battle in like 20 minutes. It was so good.
That's happened both to me as a DM, and I did it to my buddy who is a DM. He put us in this place where we needed to go through caverns. Promise everybody that for the viewers who are still watching, this will be our last round or two of DM stories, and then we'll go on to something else. But we were supposed to like shimmy across this cliff face. We were supposed to climb. There was the pathway through this mountain or wherever we were ended, and we needed to climb to get to the other side. He had forgotten that like on our third session, he gave me a magic carpet.
Oh my God.
So he put this whole thing up and he's like, okay, you guys want to climb? And I looked at him and I said, nope. And he's like, well, how are you going to get to the other side? And I said, I reach into my bag of holding and I'm going to go for a magic carpet ride. Like started to sing the Aladdin song. And he was like, he's like, I completely forgot about that. Cause I kept it in my bag of holding for so long. Cause we didn't, there was no reason to use it or anything. And
right.
Yeah, he put us in that. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I got a magic carpet. We're not going anywhere. I was like, we're flying. And then he's like, okay, so all the monsters in the water, if you were to fall, are now useless. And I'm like, yeah.
So pro tip.
Yeah.
Pro tip. This is why I have a sheet of notes for every single one of my players in my GM binder. And it's like, well, I gave him this and I gave him this and I gave him this. So that when I go to set up future things, I can be like, oh, I either need to break or destroy this thing, or I need to.
The same thing happened to me. In our game world, in our universe, I accidentally, as the DM, released the cure for vampirism. I accidentally gave my party the recipe to cure vampirism so that they could cure an NPC that they needed to cure. And it never occurred to me that the very next place they went, I said, okay, what do you guys want to do next? And they said, we're going to go to the newspaper and publish the cure for vampirism. And I said, uh-oh. And then I looked, because Kurt, my buddy and I are doing this together. So I looked at him and I'm like, is this okay? And he's like, you did it, man. It's here. So yeah, and then I ended up, because they could make it, they had it on them. So this ancient vampire towards the end of the campaign, not the end boss, but one leading up to it,
right,
was a vampire, and they had cure vampirism. So they dogpiled him and gave him the vampire cure, and it cured what my every intention was to be an ancient vampire within the universe. So not only did I release the cure for vampirism into the universe, they also cured one of the original vampires in our universe. So the entire vampire populace for campaign 3, I have to imagine, is all but decimated because of what I did. So, but that's one of the cool parts about it, right? Is that when you don't think of that stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, oops, I did do this.
You never know what wrestlers or D&D players are going to do, and I have both at my table.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way to predict what somebody's going to do. You can set up a situation. That's how I figured it out real quick. You make a situation, give them a situation, give them some options, and then they're likely not going to use any of your options. They'll figure out their own option, but just make a situation. That's the only thing you can do. So absolutely. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love playing it. It's been great. We've been playing now we just finished our second campaign, and the first campaign took about 4 or 5 years for us to get through. And the second campaign just took us about 4 years to get through. So we've been playing, I think, almost 10 years now.
That is amazing. I love that for you.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Like I said, I'm for building the universe. That's what I like. I like that we're building lore, and there's things that have happened in the first campaign that are affecting things in the next, in the third. You know what I mean? That's what I like. So I very much like doing that. So other than D&D, now that we've just talked about that for 35 minutes and everybody's turned the show off, do you have any other hobbies or anything else that you like to do?
I like to bake.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that either.
I've really been on sourdough recently. Like that's my favorite. And I'm not trying to throw any shade. I feel like store-bought sourdough just is not as good as homemade.
No.
That's true of a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I bake every week for D&D. Kind of why I took up baking actually to bribe the wrestlers and the D&D players.
Yo, I'm telling my buddy he's got to start cooking. I'm gonna be like, yo, I got a dungeon master who cooks for her party every week, bro. Why? What? Why are we getting pizza and chicken or whatever steak?
Usually cookies. It's usually cookies.
Well, I'll take cookies. I'll take some cookies. He's been slacking.
But no, and
I'm gonna have to holler at him.
I've got to give my partner credit. Like Monday, so we run our games on Mondays. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. Like, I've got to finish prepping. I've got to get this set of gear done so I can ship it. I was like, I don't know when I'm going to find time to shower and bake cookies. And he said, well, can I bake the cookies? And I was like, yeah, because a lot of weeks I bake from scratch. This week I'd gotten a pack of sugar cookie mix. So like it was real easy. And I just ran out of time, which is why I got the easy cookies because I was like, man, I know what Monday looks like. There are weeks that I make things from scratch and there are weeks that I use a brownie mix, but like both are tasty.
You're way ahead of the curve already. So I don't care what you're bringing. You can store bought it. And you're already ahead of most of what I'm experiencing. So that's what I'm saying. He needs to step it up. I'll make sure I holler at him after this podcast. Yeah, I love I mean, I'm not a baker myself. I like eating cookies and cake and stuff like that. Although I haven't been eating, I've been changing my diet, more protein, more than anything else these days. So, but I also like to, I do cook a little bit. I cook steaks, I cook on the grill, and I make spaghetti. I make my own. Well, not when I say I make my own spaghetti sauce, I don't actually make it from scratch. I get store-bought and then I do a bunch of stuff to it to make it better.
I would love for you to share that recipe if you were willing.
Yeah, sure.
I've been looking for a good spaghetti sauce recipe.
Yeah, it only really works with certain kinds of spaghetti sauce. I've noticed that if you do it with with certain kinds and not other kinds, doesn't come out. The taste is different. It's weird, but yeah, what I usually do is just get store bought. Prego actually is what I usually get, and then
Prego is my favorite.
Yeah, Prego, and then I usually salt, pepper, oregano, and then I constantly stir it while it's simmering. I never let it sit. I constantly stir it the entire time it's simmering. And of course, I'm tasting until it tastes right. It's more salt, more pepper, more oregano. But yeah, we'll talk about that after the show too. Now we're exchanging recipes. This is going to be a multi-purpose show, man. We've been from wrestling to D&D. Now we're talking about baking, spaghetti sauce recipes.
Listen, you guys, this is a variety show. You're welcome.
Yeah. I wish I could say that it's not usual that we go off topic, but we I usually keep my podcast free. There's no reason to follow a format. Just let the conversation unfold naturally. Wherever it goes is wherever it goes.
No, for sure. And I think that really leads to a more authentic conversation personally.
Yeah.
You can definitely look at one side of a coin and be like, yes, this is a coin. But there's always so much more to gather, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I also don't edit the episodes unless a guest needs me to, because I like people seeing the full conversation. I've noticed some podcasts, they like to cut it down for time or maybe their presentation or whatever. And I think it makes it look, I don't like the chopped up look. I think it's so obvious when you've cut something out of your show and you it's, I don't know, to me, it's so obvious. So I don't really like doing that. I always like leaving it just the way it is, unless something crazy happens, which I can't say has, it's never happened. It's definitely happened at least 2 or 3 different times where something weird or crazy has happened and I've had to cut it out of the episode. So
So it's a bar that I can surpass if I want to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely there. Yeah. I mean, you can. Yeah. Yeah. You could if you. You'd have to be swinging for the fences, though. I'll tell you. It's not going to be something easy that I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to chop this out. You'd pretty much have to do something that would, if I didn't cut it out, you'd be canceled. Is pretty much like where the line is. You know what I'm saying? I don't want any of my
That's
guests to
fair.
be canceled. So.
No, you're good. I'm surprised that my commentary has not gotten me canceled so far.
Hey, just remember this. You can only be canceled if you let yourself be canceled.
That's true. All publicity is good publicity.
Yep. That's why Mayhem Media will be here until the end of time, because I can't be canceled. No matter how much hate I draw from either of my brands, I'll take it all. Just bring it on, and I'm still going to be here. It's fine. So what else? Is there anything else that I missed that you want to talk about? About yourself, about wrestling? We can talk some more about D&D if you really want to.
I mean, I can always talk about D&D. Like my partner says it's a problem, but now that he's at my table, like he's often like, "Oh, did you know that this is an ability that exists?" I was like, "Yeah, I did." He's like, "Can I have it?" I'm like, "No, you're not that level yet."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my people kind of reach out, like we're kind of free on our stuff. So like, if you want a piece of gear or something, you can like let me know, or let the person who's the DM know, and then you don't know when you're going to get it, but you'll get like either that or some kind of close variation of what you want. So
No, and I kind of try to run off the same rules. Like my partner came to me a few days ago and he said, "Hey, can I have a glass jar in the game?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, I want to catch some bees." I said, "Okay, I guess that's fine."
yeah, see, you're racking your brain. What is he going to do with those bees? What's he going to do with those bees? Give me something, brain. Give me something.
He
that he's
wants
going
to do it in wrestling. He keeps saying like, "Oh, I just want to bring a jar of bees to the wrestling ring," and I'm like, "You can't do that." But I'm gonna let him have a jar of bees in the game. I also let them have the compo.
You know he's bringing it to the wrestling ring.
Oh gosh, I don't want to be the one to have to deal with bees.
Yeah, he's bringing the bees into the wrestling ring. Absolutely. You just can't. You know that's what he's going to do. That's the thing. When you know your players, when they ask for something and you know what they're going to do with it, that's when I look into changing it. My buddy, one of our players, sent me something for his like end game weapon, and I said, "Yeah, this is great, but this is way too freaking powerful." So I'm like cutting everything by 50%, and then that's what you're going to get, because that's ridiculous. No.
Man, I have a whole group of murder hobos. Like these children, they found a 15-year-old girl who was tied up because she was going to be sacrificed by a goblin shaman. And they were like, "Well, we could kill the girl." I was like, "She's in danger. Like, can you not?" And so intentionally, as a consequence, I put this like oogie spooky woman in my game who approached the party and gave them like these horrifying messages. And I gave her a very, very, very cursed item. And I was like, if they kill her, I know who's going to pick it up, and I know who's going to get the consequence, and I'm just going to laugh at her. Which they decided not to kill that one, but I guess that's good.
yeah, at least that's good. Yeah, I got my guys to pick up cursed coins before, and it took quite a minute for them to actually start spending them. But the curse was that as soon as you start spending them, you can't stop spending them until all of your gold is gone. You, like when you're at a store and you start spending them, you have to start spending them. Like, and there's no negotiating, no haggling. If they say this is the price, you just instantaneously give them these coins.
That much gold. Wow. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Two of them emptied their inventories of complete gold because I make them. I said, "Nope, I was like, "No, you're not paying 100 gold for this. You throw down 300 gold for this item because you think it's so awesome that you're willing to pay the extra gold for it." And it wasn't until it was too late that they were out of gold that they actually figured it out. And then it was a whole game session later that they figured out, these coins are out there in the world. what's going to happen to the person who we just gave them, who just bought all this stuff and gave them all to? What's
Oh my
that
gosh.
going to do when he starts selling them? Because we're building the whole universe, right? So one little thing can trickle to be something huge later on down the road, or another campaign or something like that. So they ended up having to spend their own gold to get this cursed gold back that they couldn't spend because of the curse. And I managed, they didn't roll high enough. There were still 3 coins left unaccounted for at the end of my campaign. So there's
3 coins out in the world.
Yep, 3 curse coins that if you possess it, then the only thing you're going to want to do is spend every bit of money that you have in your pocket.
Man, I wonder if like an artificer, because I know that they have the infusions they can do. And I've been looking at that list because one of my players is an artificer, but I haven't committed it to memory yet. I wonder if there's something an artificer could do with that to like replicate it. Because I know they can do that with like bags of holding, immovable rods.
I just had an artificer. He didn't try anything tricky with the coins, but he was definitely hard to DM against.
And what made him hard to DM against?
Just I wasn't super familiar with the artificers, so what he could do was, you know, every time he leveled up, it was try and figure out what he can do now to try and plan around that. So like he couldn't hit for a lot of damage, but he had this ability where if you attack anybody else, you do it with disadvantage. So and he had this shield he could replenish by using a bonus action. He could use a reaction to get like temporary hit points. Like he could give himself 30 extra hit points every single turn. I mean, not an additional 30 points, but like 30 points. Like if I hit him for 50 damage, he could give himself 30 additional points. And then if I only hit him for 20, he could replace those 20 points. Like every round I had to hit him for more than the damage that he could actually replenish each time, or I wasn't doing anything. And that happened several times where I was just attacking him and then either not hitting him because he was super hard to hit, or not causing enough damage to him because of all his shields and all his other stuff that he could activate. So yeah, he made it a real pain in the butt. He was a real pain in the butt.
No, and I get that. I have a gunslinger in this campaign, and I downloaded the PDF of like, hey, this is what a gunslinger can do. And I've been like studying that because this kid's level 2 and he's like, oh, I take a feat. I was like, no, you don't. I was like, you can't do that at level 2. And we had a back and forth.
It's only when you get skill points to spend, right?
I think for the gunslinger, you have to get to level 4 before you can take a feat.
Yeah. But even when you want to take a feat, it has to be in place of your skill points.
Right.
Yeah.
You were correct. And so like some classes get those at level 3. Gunslinger does not get those at level 2. And so we had to go through and I was like, hey, I will let you play this, but like we are going to nerf this because I don't want everybody else at my table to have a bad time because of you.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that, but like, hey man, if you want to stay at my table, like there are rules.
Yep. We have a group of house rules, and one of the rules is that the DM runs the campaign. It doesn't matter if whoever's running that campaign, they're in charge of that campaign. That's the way it is. We have certain house rules, like a crit 20 is always a crit. Doesn't matter. Just like a 1 is a critical failure. So a 1 or a 20, no matter what, it doesn't matter what you add to it, any modifiers. If you hit a 1, you failed. If you hit a 20, you succeeded. Doesn't matter what the threshold was. A crit success is an automatic succeed. Crit failure is an automatic failure.
So see, I don't treat those that way, but I do with like a crit for damage. I use the Perkins crit method, where basically if you say you were to cast, can't give you an example right now. Say that you were using a hand axe, which I believe the damage on those off the top of my head is 1d8 plus whatever your modifier is.
Yeah.
And so you would automatically get 8 plus you'd roll your die and then add whatever. So like you could potentially do 16 plus your modifier on that axe.
We double our damage for attack rolls. If you crit on an attack roll, all of the damage is doubled. resistances or whatever obviously play a part in that. But yeah, if you crit, then everything is doubled.
Yeah, because I think that's fair. Like if you're getting a nat 20, like you should be getting a better success out of that.
Yeah, I occasionally, when they would roll a 1 when they were attack roll, I'd make them fall over or something and then have to use some of their movement speed to stand back up because they critical failed it.
So see what I like to do with some of my critical fails personally. I like to do it as like yes, you succeed, but there's a consequence. So like, yes, maybe you still get that shot with your crossbow. Maybe the string breaks.
Oh, interesting. Never thought about
Or,
trying to do it that way. Yeah.
Something in that realm. Or like maybe you do get the shot and you do get to still deal damage, but your gun jams. And so you have to spend your next turn trying to deal with that consequence.
Yep.
I feel like it just adds like a more fun flavor than just you fail, you know?
Yeah. Well, I like to, no, I don't mean just you fail. I mean like you fail and then like you'll fall on your face. Or like there's usually when you critical fail, there's usually I usually give a little bit of a penalty for a critical failure. So, or just like a critical success, if damage is going to get doubled and you failed on something, then there's got to be something. You slip and fall or you lose your grip on this or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and I did have that with a player, like one of the players at my table. They came up to a trap, and so what it was a pressure plate that was 10 feet by 10 feet, and then up above it there were multiple blades that would come down once you step on the pressure plate. And so one of my party members is a Goliath, and he's like, hey, I want to reach up and just like hold these blades in place. I was like, okay, I will let you try, but like you're gonna have to do a couple skill checks for me. And he passed his skill checks, and so he held it up, and his friends got under without the pressure plate, without the blades coming down. He's still standing there, and he's like, well, I want to get out of here. I said, okay, so give me like an athletics check, I think is what I made him do. And he rolled low, and so he knocked one of the other party members over when he came out from under the trap. And so that player was prone, and they had to deal with that, before combat could really happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I like doing that other type of stuff too. And the one thing you should know if for anybody that's ever in our thing is when a DM, myself, or anybody else in our group says, absolutely, you can do that. You should be very, very, very concerned.
You should also be very concerned if your DM says, are you sure?
Yeah. Yes. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Are you sure that's what you want to do?
Are you sure you want to grab it with both hands, Gunnar Edmonton? Yes. Both hands. I said it. I know what I'm saying. I know what I want to do. Both hands.
No, expect that your DM is about to punish you if you do that, and or kill an NPC, because that was
when he said which hand. That's when I was like, oh, there's something. I'm gonna throw him off. Both hands. Are you sure? Both hands?
Oh man.
I'm sure. Yeah, both hands.
I had a player in my first campaign, and I had set a trap. There was this mysterious like metal C on a table, and he was like, oh, I touched the C, and I was like, are you sure? And he goes, yeah. This shock collar slithers up his arm and then clamps onto his neck, limiting his magic. And he looks at me and he goes, really? I said, yeah, dude, I gave you the chance to not do that.
I said, are you sure? Oh, man. Yeah. No, and my character, it played with my character, though. The character I was playing was a young king who was trying to prove himself. So he was always thinking forward, and not about the repercussions of it. So I ended up running my character into an energy shield and getting scarred up and blasted. I almost had my face blown off with a cannon when I kicked the door in. So yeah, I mean, I played the character though. That was the character until he made enough mistakes that I thought it was like, okay, now he's going to start restraining himself and thinking about
Right.
other stuff. So I like playing the character. That's other than the universe building. I like playing the character that I'm building. So
Right. And I love that. Like it makes it so much more immersive.
Yeah. That makes the story better too, because you're all storytellers. I mean, the DM controls
Right.
it, he controls the narrative and the setting and stuff, but really all the players have just as much control telling the story as the DM does.
Almost as much.
At least with their own characters, right? Not necessarily with the universe, but with their own characters.
Yeah, that is so true. And I definitely love that aspect. Like my first D&D character, I played a soul sorcerer, and I should not have been playing a soul sorcerer because like I should have learned the game and then gotten into it. And like I know that character I didn't role play very well because I just didn't know how to do that.
I didn't even play a magic wielder. My first character was a battle master.
Okay.
So not a no magic wielding except for my breath weapon, because I was a dragonborn, so I had a breath weapon.
Oh wow.
Not really any other magic other than that, and the magic items I got. But like he wasn't a magic wielder. He wasn't strong in magic forces or anything like that. I think I think magic wielders are a little bit more difficult to play, and they're also sometimes a little bit slower.
No, yeah, and the only reason I took that, so I sat in for a game and I was like, what do you guys need? Like I'm new, I don't know what to make. And they're like, we don't have a healer. And I was like, okay, so how can I be a high charisma healer?
No one ever wants to be the healer. We have to rotate. Someone has to volunteer to be the healer in our group whenever a new campaign comes out, because no one wants to be it. So I volunteered this time to be the healer. So I'm playing a paladin.
Okay.
So at least a paladin though, right? So at least I can do other stuff. But he's going to be a support paladin, not like a big heavy hitter. He's going to be more of a support guy. But yeah, I volunteered to be the healer this time. No one ever wants to be the healer. I had to play. I made an NPC in my campaign when I was the DM. I had an NPC be the group's healer because no one wanted to be the healer.
Unpopular opinion, I like playing the healer. Like I had more fun playing as Odessa than most of the other characters that I've played. And I like one thing that I really liked about her. So like if somebody died in battle, because she was meant to be religious and she had two gods that she was devout to, she would pray over the bodies. Like, I hope that you were able to find more love in death than you were in life. And it felt really cool for role play.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We definitely like to include the role playing. We're kind of, it's weird because sometimes we'll definitely not be like role playing, but it's usually more when we want to describe something. So that way people know what they're actually so they can visualize it and stuff. But yeah, a lot of us get into the role playing aspect as well. And we just got an old person is returning and a new person just came. So we're up to, oh man, what are we up to now? 1, 2, 3, 6 of us and a DM now. So there's
wow,
group. Yeah. I was so glad that they decided to join after I was already done being the dungeon master.
It's tough. Like I had a group of 7 for a while for my holiday campaign. And there was one point where everybody in the party wanted to do something different. They split the party 3 ways. I was like, you guys, really? I was like, okay, here's how we're going to do this. I was like, y'all are going to sit in timeout. I will play through a scene with, the couple of you that want to do this. Yeah. And then you guys are going to sit out because like, that's the only way I can accommodate like hitting all the story points that you want to hit.
We decided that very long ago that it's a group policy not to separate the party.
Yeah, that's a good policy.
Our regular DM likes to punish us when we separate the party. So we try not to. And I was ready to, if they would have separated at any time during my campaign, I would have absolutely nailed them to the wall. Well, you guys walked into this place without your healer and without your tank. What do you want me to do about it? You chose this, not me. So yeah, in our group, we don't split the party because it tends to backfire in our face anytime we have done it. Well, I like talking D&D with you, and we will have to plan a D&D episode, even though we just filled 50 minutes of the episode with D&D in this episode. No, I don't care. I mean, I've had you on. We talk some wrestling and stuff, and that's the whole point of this is to get to know you and what you like and stuff. So if you're a D&D person, and I'm definitely a D&D person, so I had a feeling that some of this conversation was going to be Dungeons and Dragons oriented. But I will have to have you on again so that we can specifically talk about Dungeons and Dragons. And
I would love to.
And hopefully appeal to some viewers who want to see it, because I'm expecting some of the people that watched the first half of this was like, what are they talking about now?
Listen, you guys got to have me for a show, and that's a delight in and of itself.
Absolutely. I've had a great time. You've been a great conversationalist. So
thank you.
Let's do it again, and let's talk. We'll plan an actual Dungeons and Dragons episode. And I've wanted to do a Dungeons and Dragons episode since I started podcasting, but I can't find none of my team members want to do an episode on Dungeons and Dragons. And I haven't been able to do one. So
I would be stoked.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do one.
And I like something I bring to the table that not everybody maybe does. I DIY a lot of my minis and my props and stuff, and so I would love to talk about that as well.
So you go above and beyond. So we don't do minis and stuff. Actually, we play more remotely now at this point. Since COVID happened, we kind of shifted. We shifted. We were playing in person a little bit, and then people's schedules got to the point where trying to meet at the same place was actually costing us more time than we would have gotten to play. Like where if we'd have just stayed at home and did it virtually, we can play up to 3 or 3.5 hours sometimes. But if we all try to get in the same place, we'd probably maybe get an hour and a half out of it.
Yeah, we're lucky. We get 2.5 or 3, depending on when everybody gets their character sheets done. So I'm very thankful that we get the time we do every week.
Yeah, it's a commitment, and juggling, and especially with a large group. Like I said, we're up to 7 now. Trying to find a day that worked for everybody's schedules, work and personal life, and otherwise was difficult. And I still had to stay flexible because they want to do it on Sundays now. But football season's right around the corner. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon is on right now and airs Sundays. AEW and WWE pay-per-views are on Sunday nights. Like my Sundays are full. So trying to do D&D on Sundays too is like, what are you guys doing to me? I'm going from nonstop all day here.
Right.
Well, thank you for coming on, and we are definitely going to do a D&D episode. Where can people?
Yeah, thank you so much. You can find me on Facebook. I am Miss.Sarah Sunshine. I am on YouTube as Sarah Shows Support. I am on TikTok and Instagram as Miss.Sarah Sunshine. You also can follow me if you want to check out my gear making, Sewing and Altercations on Facebook and Instagram. I feel like I'm missing one, but those are the main ones.
If you want to send after we're done, since we're not airing this, we're shooting this on Wednesday, July 8th. It's hot as all get out in Pennsylvania. Not super humid though, so I'm thankful for that. But we're shooting this on Wednesday, July 8th. It's not going to be released until Monday when you're watching this. It should be Monday the 13th, July 13th. So if you send me the links to all of your stuff in Facebook, I will make sure that they get into the description of the video. So that way people can just go and click on the links there, as where you can find all of our links as well for Mayhem Media. Remember, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble. And of course we have the gaming channels on Twitch and Kick. Even though we haven't really done too much gaming content at this point, we still have those channels, and we still do our regular episodes to those channels when we go live. So you can check them out there as well. And of course, the storefront, I am wearing the Mayhem Diamond again, courtesy of our graphic artist, Mayhemtainment. And thank you to Scott and Austin Diamond for the relationship between the Diamond Cartel and Mayhem Media to allow the Mayhem Diamond to even come to fruition. Go and pick one up at the storefront, bonfire.com/store/Mayhem Media shop, and pick yourself up a Mayhem Diamond, any Diamond Cartel stuff. They get half of the profits, so you can support them by picking up their gear as well. For Sarah Sunshine, whose links you can find in the description of this video, I am your host, the bad guy of podcasting, JD. And that's the end.